Namaste dosto, wish you a very happy Diwali and welcome back to another video. And as you might know, a few months ago I have completed my MBBS and now I'm sitting at home 4 months down the line. A lot of the students know what MBBS is like, and a lot of the students want to get into MBBS, but nobody tells you what is life after MBBS, the good, the bad, and the ugly side of it. So I think as a responsible person on social media, it is my job to tell you exactly that. And being a person who has experienced it firsthand, I think irrespective of whether you are a UG student, an MBBS student, or even a person like me watching this video would show you different perspectives of what to expect once you have graduated and completed your degree. Let's talk about the bright side, the good side of things first. First thing I want to talk about is how burnout actually turns into excitement. When you are in MBBS, you are continuously giving examinations, you're studying for something or the else. In internship, you're continuously working while simultaneously studying for your entrance examination. As soon as your exam is done, your internship is done, you feel extremely burnt out. You feel like finally this is all over and I don't want to give any other exams yet. You feel finally one morning I get to wake up at what time I want to wake up at, not because I have an exam or I have to go to my clinic. But yet inside your mind you're really burnt out. I think that this is one of the main reasons why radiology and dermatology branches, which are lighter compared to the core clinical branches, are in the rise. Because after your MBBS is done and if you crack your NEET PG well, then you are entitled to enter this little bit lighter branches which are also at that same time high earning. It's because of the burnout that you face all throughout your 5 years of MBBS. You don't want to repeat that in your PG years. You don't want that overburden, you don't want that extra stress. Now this burnout usually lasts for around 2 to 3 months, as has happened with me particularly, and during these 2 to 3 months you re-pick up your old habits, you re-pick up what actually made you interested in the field of medicine in the first place, and maybe that burnout will turn into your excitement and you might feel confident about taking a PG branch, which is a bit more difficult but something which you more likely like, because branches like dermat and radio, we don't really have that huge postings of it during our internship period or even during our final year MBBS periods. So what are postings? These are clinical rotations that we have to do in. So we have got big rotations in core clinical branches. For example, medicine surgery 2 months, jobs and gynae 2 months. But for dermatology it's hardly 1 week. For radiology, in my particular college, we did not have a rotation for radiology. The only time when I entered the radiology department is when I was with the patient and I needed to get some work done over there. So even though we don't have that much exposure about radio and dermat, there are still a lot of the students going for these branches, and I feel one of the bigger reasons is burnout rather than their own inner itcha to become a radiologist or a dermatologist. No hate to them at all. I was once myself considering to go into one of these branches, but it's just something that I really needed to talk about. Slowly and slowly, as you forget the difficult times that you were in, you rekindle your light, you find what you actually like and hopefully go over and specialize in it. Next point I want to talk about is having absolutely no exams. I cannot tell you how good it feels knowing that I do not have to give any major exams for the next 3 years. I'm just sorted. I don't have any weekly tests coming up like I did in 11th and 12th. I don't have any post-end examinations that I have every 3-4 weeks. I don't have to appear for any university examination, and I don't have to give any vivas that carry actual real marks. And that is just so relieving, because during my MBBS time, literally every 2 to 3 weeks there was an exam, and for that we used to study so much. Like I used to love studying, but during the time of the examination it was quite stressful as well. Also, while managing my YouTube channel and so many other things that I do, it was pretty difficult. So now that I don't have any exams, it just feels really good. But the downside is there are some exams that you have to give after your MBBS is done. Now what are these exams? First is NEET PG. Most of the students, if not all of them, give it. INI-CET, a lot of people attempt it. So NEET PG, INI-CET, yes, there's a November INI-CET coming up in I think 10th of November ko exam hai. So yes, there are few exams, but they are not hardcore compulsory. There is no regular schedule of exams that you have to follow. Number 3, which I personally love the most, is time with family. Especially during the later part of MBBS, that is final year and internship, you absolutely lose touch with your family, and the main reason is that you don't have enough time. In final year, the amount of studies that you have to do to pass an exam is crazy. From the morning till the night, you have to sit down and you have to put your head down into your books and read it. You have to complete multiple video lectures. In your internship, again you're working, and if you're preparing for PG, that's another stress. So you don't really get that much free time. You can sit with your mom in an afternoon and sit for like 3 hours and chat with her. That's just not possible when you are in final year or internship. But after all of this MBBS is done, you have so much time. You can sit with your parents, you can sit with your loved ones, you can go out on dates, build a relationship, whatever you want, you can do all of that. You can just be very happy about it. So yeah, that's I think one of the major things that I have seen in my life is that for the past few weeks I've been spending the most amount of time with my family that I have in the past 6, 7, 8 months. And the reason is I'm really free. And I think that's the best part, because once you go to PG, most of the times a PG is going to be in a different city, in a different state, and that is when things get really bad. And that's when you actually don't have any time whatsoever to talk with family, talk to friends. You don't have enough time to eat, sleep, read, anything. You're just continuously working, especially in the first year. I have that year coming up right in front of me. I think our session is supposed to start from 20th of December. I definitely have plans to make so many videos during my residency, and let me know if you're excited about it by commenting. We are waiting for PG videos, so I'll know that at least I have some people who will watch it. The next good thing according to me is that you get so much time to explore new places, new things that you like, and new hobbies. One of my core hobbies was to travel, but again, because of internship and for final year, I was not able to do that. And during the last few months after my exam, I have traveled so much, and I feel really happy about it. Not just traveling outside into big different cities, but also locally within your area. You might have felt that that cafe is cute, or that that particular area is nice, I want to go visit there. You can do all of that because you have so much new time. I've also been making a lot of videos, some to put in the future and some to put right now. I've been also working on multiple different things, like getting my Fantastic 4 books ready for you guys, making the blueprint, or making mastering clinicals, which will be out very soon. Don't worry about that. But I'm exploring all of my hobbies in detail. I'm pretty sure everybody gets this time to explore their hobbies as much as they want. Some people, some friends that I know really love reading, so they're doing that. Some people are watching movies, and it's just a great time. Nowhere in my life have I ever felt so free from the class 11th up till right now. In fact, I would say till my school life, I've never had so much free time that I do right now. You see, when you're in class 9, 10th, you are studying continuously. When before even the 10th results are announced, I think the coaching institutes start. That's exactly what happened with me. And after the coaching institutes have ended, within like 1 or 2 months, you get your exam, and then you get into a medical college. Your medical college flies by. 5.5 years feels like a blink, and it's all gone. And then you're sitting here. Almost 9-10 years have passed since you were a passionate kid in class 9th. And now is the time when you're actually getting enough time to follow your passions and follow your hobbies. So make sure that whenever you are on the same stages that I am right now, you do that and you follow whatever you want in life. The last thing about the good, and it says quite a lot why my good list is so short, and 2 of the points involve time. The last thing in this list is, I guess, peace. You feel at peace. You feel like you have done something, even though you are still lacking a few clinical skills, even though you're lacking some basic knowledge at some areas, you feel like you have done something good. Then that's a very essential feeling to have. If you're completing a degree and in the end, if you're feeling like, okay, finally, yaar, at least मैंने कुछ तो कर लिया, that itself makes the degree worth it. And there's this sense of peace within you. Okay, finally, this is done. Now I can move on to other things in life. If I want to take a break, I can take a break in between. But I think the good lists end over there. But before I tell you the bad and the ugly side of it, let me tell you a bit more about Oswaal Books. For a student who is preparing for the NEET UG examination, you might definitely know the importance of solving PYQs. NEET examination directly picks up the PYQs, alters them a bit, and puts it up in the next exam. And one of the best ways you can increase your marks is by mastering the PYQs from which they can ask the questions in the future. How do we get these PYQs? Well, there are several books available in the market, but the one which I recommend to my students who are following me is Oswaal's 37 years PYQ book. I've personally gone over all the 3 books for the 3 subjects of NEET. I generally tell you it's a very good resource if you're wanting to practice PYQs. Got a 100% solved NEET 2024 paper, more than 3,500 previous year questions which are useful for you, crisp mind maps, mnemonics, and most importantly a trend analysis which helps you determine which area to focus on more. Of course, when you're solving the PYQs, you can also refer to the solutions and write them in your mistake book, and you can directly copy it. Almost all the lines of NCERT are covered over here. This will definitely help you in your preparation. I've added a link in the description. Go check out Oswaal Books. I've been recommending them for years and students have been benefiting from years. Go through the link down below and get yourself PYQ book today. Keep on practicing every day. Thank you, Oswaal, for always supporting the channel. Now back to the video. Let's talk about the bad side. I feel like a lot of people are directly going to jump to the bad side, but let's go. So let's start. The first part is, of course, losing friends. As you all know, I had a very big group during my MBBS years and during my internship as well. But as it happens with all groups, slowly and slowly friends started to break off from it. And that's honestly pretty natural. If you remember your days from school, your class maybe had a very big group, and now I don't know how many people of those group do you actually talk with or hang out with regularly. Even with class 12th, that's the same thing, and MBBS is no different. No matter how closely knit your group was, you will only probably be left with 2 friends, 3 friends max that you are in daily communication with. You might have a group, but it might not be that active. And that's exactly what happened with me also, and I think it happened with most of the other people that I know of, is that friend groups slowly start dissolving after MBBS is done. Of course, you are still friends. There's nothing bad happening between you guys. Like your school friends, you imagine your school friends, they're still good friends of yours. It's just that you lose touch with them. It starts slowly when you don't notice it during internship. Of course, you hang out very less because you're now stuck in your clinical duties. After that, you're studying. So what a hangout was in your MBBS years, like maybe 2 or 3 times a week, now becomes 2 or 3 times a month. And that's how it starts. And as the internship progresses on, they become busier. They find better friends, more friends who are more available. You find friends which are available according to your schedule, and those are mostly your co-interns. The original friend group which you actually had, it starts fading away, while at the same time you start gaining new friends. And that's honestly okay. Once your MBBS is done, you might find yourself not even chatting with them or talking with them maybe for a few weeks. And that's how the boundaries increase even more. And it happens from both the sides. Like it's not unilateral. Both the parties feel the same way. The person, that is you, and your friend, both are receding in a similar fashion, and it's a very natural phenomenon. Next, is that most of the students in your medical colleges come from different places all across India, and sometimes from outside also. Once your college is over, these people go back to their hometowns, and that creates a physical barrier between you and them, and that again causes a decrease in your friendship. Now, a lot of people might disagree with me and they might have good friend groups, but I'm just telling you my aspect of it and what I saw around me happen, what I felt myself. That a lot of good friends of mine who were like so close friends of mine before, I just wish them on their birthdays now, or wish them on a festival like Happy Diwali or something like that. And that's okay. A lot of you guys have been wondering the comments also, where is this particular friend, where is that particular friend. So the honest answer is, as the natural phenomena happens, you don't meet that often, and whenever you do meet, you don't record it and you don't post it online. So don't worry about where the friends are, because they are still my friends, but it's just that slowly and slowly the connection that we once had is fading away, and I think a lot of people would relate to it. And I think that's honestly okay as well, because I don't think you're supposed to have that many close friends. I don't think your close friend list should go beyond 5 or 6. That is the real close friend. Instagram wali close friend list की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं. In the real time, in your real life, how many people can you actually talk to about when you're feeling down? How many people can you talk to when you're going through a tough phase of life? How many people can you share the problems of your life with while being truly unfiltered? I'm pretty sure there is not a lot of people in your list or on mine, and there's a reason to it, because trust factor comes in, and I don't think the length of the friendship matters, the depth of the friendship actually matters more. Yes, post MBBS life, one of the biggest things which I did not expect to happen, but it did, was I lost a lot of friends. But at the same time, I gained a lot of new ones as well. And that's how life is. The second thing I want to talk about is actually unemployment. So yes, it's true that unemployment does exist after MBBS. I'm sitting at my home 4 months later and I'm still unemployed. There are two reasons to it. First of all is, of course, the counseling. After my NEET PG, my counseling was supposed to start early so that I could join into my residency, start earning some money. And that's the thing, it did not happen. It got so much delayed. And now we are here, almost 6 months is over. And if you check the original date, NEET PG was supposed to happen in March. And now we are sitting at November. So you can see this long of a period. Some people have already ended their internships way before me. Some people have taken a drop and they are unemployed for this entire long duration. And I think that no man above the age of 24, 23 should be unemployed at any point, because it's just, I don't know, it does not feel right. I know that it's not in our hands to get our employment, but we cannot control when the counseling is going to happen. But that's just the bad aspect of it. We cannot control it. So that's one side of the story. The second side is that if you actually try to get a job, there is a lot of saturation in the MBBS field. So I think that is one of the bad sides of it. A lot of the people start their bonds, but some people who complete their internship a bit late have problems starting their bonds because all these seats by the MBBS graduates have already been filled. And I came across this post, you can see on the screen. It clearly shows how much unemployment is present in our state, especially with respect to the MBBS graduates. I remember my brother-in-law, who is currently a consultant in one of the hospitals in Nagpur. He told me that for a seat of a medical officer in their hospital, 3 seats were available and 147 people applied for it. So you can see how much the competition is. And out of this 147, who will get the seat? I don't know. So that's how it is. That after MBBS, nobody prepares you that unemployment can be a real thing. Though I am a creator, I am creating videos on YouTube and on different places, but I still feel like as an MBBS graduate, I should be earning by now. using my knowledge and skills and not just my skills for making videos. So I do acknowledge that that is a major issue, and I think that none of the NEET aspirants actually know the situation which is present in India, that even doctors are being unemployed. So yes, that's the sad reality of it. Which brings me to my third point, that is uncertainty. After MBBS, if you give your NEET PG examination or you give your INA-CT examination, the counseling process is inevitably delayed. In our country, they cannot start the counseling on time. That's a curse that we are bearing. So what happens is that there is a lot of uncertainty with respect to what branch you're going to get, where you're going to be thrown off in a country as big as India, and what's the next 3 years going to look like, what is the type of institute. And I'm not talking this for the toppers, the first 10,000, 15,000 people. Probably they have some idea of where they're going to go, but I'm talking about the mid-rankers, the majority of the population according to Gaussian curve. In this graph, the major area of the population near the mean and median and mode, that is where uncertainty becomes a real big deal. Like, you don't know what is going to happen with you. You don't know what college you're going to go into, what institute you're going to go into, what is going to be your next 3 years, which city you're going to live in. And imagine living your life with that uncertainty. It might be anxious. It might make you to have mental health crises. It might make you to take rash decisions, or it might just make you feel depressed. So that's the sad part about it, man. That there is so much uncertainty after, especially your PG exams, and that's because the counseling is always delayed in our country. So that's the bad part about it. I'm pretty sure that even 5 years down the line, if you pick up this video, still the counseling will be delayed, still the NEET PG exam will be delayed, because that's how the things work. And unfortunately, there is no solution to it that I can give you. And all of this uncertainty plus unemployment is bringing me to my another point, which I've written down, is you get out of touch with your clinical skills and your clinical knowledge. If a person, let's say, who started studying for NEET PG 2 years ago and finally has cracked it this year, you see, 2 years that person was unemployed. That person did not have to go to the clinic. He did not have to attend the rounds. So all the clinical knowledge which they had definitely has been downgraded a bit, because once you're out of touch of any skill, you become bad at it. That's the definite ideology about it. Like, if you start playing the guitar, you play it well for 3 to 4 years, you leave it for 2 years. What happens next? You will definitely forget a few chords. You will definitely have to practice a little bit more to get your skills up. It takes a lot of time to acquire these skills, but it takes not a lot of time to lose it, especially in your young years. This lack of skills becomes a major problem, I think, in PG, where you are expected to know everything, and you are expected to do a lot of things all by yourself. When you're an intern, nobody has any responsibility on you. You're okay, you can make mistakes, but as a PG, you have responsibility on your hands, and that's when your clinical skills should be used. Last thing, I think this is a different take of the bad side, is that in this entire marathon of your life journey of becoming a doctor, right from your 9th, 10th standard till the age of 30, till you are actually a practicing physician or a surgeon or a consultant or whatever, you don't have any breaks in between. So, and the only breaks that you are actually getting is in between of one degree and another degree. Otherwise, you are just continuously running in one straight line and burning out every single day. That's the odd part about it. So if you really think about it, that's such a bad way of living. That's such a bad way of pursuing your life, right? You're just jumping from one degree to another, especially knowing that life is so short. You are going to the hospital each day, you are seeing so many dead of the patients. So you're yourself seeing how short life is. But at the same time, you yourself make no changes to your life so that you can actually live it, because this journey is not allowing you to. If I, let's say, want to take a year off and travel the world because I can and I want to, I cannot do that because I don't have the time right now. A lot of people have so many different hobbies. I want to maybe write a book, or I want to do something apart from being a doctor. I cannot take 1 year off. If I take 1 year off, all the other things are going to go against me. The competition of NEET PG is continuously going to rise. Unless you're using the blueprint, then you will beat the competition, and you can use the code Diwali to get 15% off. But anyways, I'm going to be out of touch with my clinical skills, and it will be very difficult for me to study. So I cannot just do that. If I have gotten a good rank, that rank will expire. Just after the counseling is done, that rank is expired. It's gone. So I cannot crack an examination and then hold my rank, and then after a few years enter the particular rat race once again. So there are no breaks in between. Once you start, you have to get over with it. So to all the 11th class, 12th class students who are watching this, who are thinking, यार MBBS के बाद तो life में मज़ा ही मज़ा है, that's honestly the biggest lie anybody has ever told you. After MBBS, struggle continues on, and it's going to continue on till a very long period of your life. If you take your average life of a doctor in India is around 68 years if you're a male doctor. And by the time you reach your maximum consultant phase, half your life is over, like 32, 33 years are already over. If you take a surgical branch, that's even more than that. So half your life you're just studying and working, and the next 10, 15 years you're probably going to practice. So for 10, 15, 20 years of practice, you are sacrificing the first 30 years of your life. So that's the bitter part, that you don't get to have breaks in between. And I don't know how many people agree with me, but I really feel like after my MBBS is done, I need a 1 year solid break. I need to just relax, chill out, rejuvenate, maybe continuously build on my body, or try to make good quality videos, or pursue something and not just chase this degree. Which finally brings me to the ugly part. The ugly part of life after MBBS is pretty bad. So let me tell you. It is, I think, single-handedly the ugliest part is that when you realize that without doing a good PG, your MBBS degree is not worth it. So if you go to a hospital, like I told you, unemployment of course is there, but the way a postgraduate person approaches a patient and the way you approach a patient is wildly different, because you don't have that skills. Even if a MBBS person who has practiced a lot in the years versus a freshly graduate MD or MS, they have a very different approach towards the same patient, and that leads to different patient outcomes, obviously favoring the one who has given more years in the system. So you realize that you have worked really hard for this 5.5 years, 6 years, and it's not worth it. All of this was just a criteria to give NEET PG, and after NEET PG you are actually going to start to become a doctor. You get this imposter syndrome that are you even worthy of this particular tag? I've seen a lot of this happen with people who have come from institute which did not have that good of a clinical exposure. But sometimes I do find it from the other good college, good institute people as well. Realize that it's very essential for you to do a PG. And here's the problem, my friends. It does not stop at PG. Once you're done with your PG, you will be at the same standalone point. After MD or MS is done, you will sit down once again in your life after giving your NEET SS exam, and you will be like, damn, all this was just a criteria so that I could give my super specialization exam. All this was just so that I could give the final 3 years to my degree. And after your super specialization is done, that is you're done your DM, you're done your SS, done your MCH, whatever. After that, you are like sitting again, and then you're like, let me do that fellowship and I'll feel better. It never ends. So you always feel like your degree is not worth anything without doing an additional degree. I don't know for how much aspect it is true, but I personally feel this way. You realize that your degree was just an essential criteria for entering another entrance exam. The ugliest part, however, I personally feel, according to me, is that since this is a very long career path, you start at the age of 18, 19, and when you're doing your PG, you are at the ripe age of 24, 25, 26, and at that time, a lot of people get married, and it's a very normal thing to happen, and it's the right age to get married whenever you feel like you're ready. So a lot of people get married at around this age. A lot of times it happens is that because of this course, a lot of long distance marriages, a long distance relationship starts. In fact, I was watching a reel the other day. They were saying that I can totally handle the toxicity and the workload of PG, but how will I handle staying away from my loved one? And I felt that it was like an eye-opener for me. So that's the thing. This entire long duration of studies, I feel like we can compare it sort of to the army training. Army training is billion times, 100 times harder than this. But still, like army, maybe you have to stay away with your partner. You don't know where your next posting is going to be. You don't know when you're going to sleep. You don't know if you're going to get the time to call. It's a high stress job. And it involves army involves a lot of physical strain and psychological strain. Here it is psychological strain plus a lot of mental strain, sometimes also physical strain. So definitely it is a difficult field. And if you are a very good family man, then this long journey, you'll definitely have to sacrifice on family, no questions asked. Even in the future, after the marriage is done, after you are settled with your wife or your family or your kids, still you have to work as a doctor, and you always have to put, your patients, your clinic, your career first, because you have to grow in that career because you have put so many years in, and that's the ugly part of it. You have to sacrifice on your family life in order to become a good doctor. How crazy is that? A lot of times in engineering companies, especially which I have seen in my relatives and friends, is that you have a lot of options to pick from where you want to work. You can work from home, you can go in the office like maybe a few times a week, so you can maintain a decent family life. And there are also limited working hours, but as a medical student or a doctor, there is no such working hours present for you. What happens in surgical branches is that people usually don't think about getting married after their MCH is done. Around 70 to 80% of candidates, even after doing their MS general surgery, after 28, 29, after 30, they get married in their 30s, maybe 32, 33, that kind of age. Similar trend is also happening in women, which is a sad state of affairs, because I personally feel like your career aspect of your life and the familial aspect of your life, it should not be in a series. Ki once you are completing your career, then you're going to family, and then you're going to become further in your career. It should be parallel. Matlab, one side you're taking care of your career, the other side you're taking care of your family life, because both are part of you. If you ignore one thing and focus only on the other, you will be unhappy. If you focus on just one thing, they ignore your career entirely, will become unhappy. So these are two parallel lines which unfortunately are now being visualized as series. So I hope I was able to get my point across. So yes, that was my take on life after MBBS, and I really hope that you found this video useful. I did not put a lot of crazy editing into it. I just wanted to keep it simple and keep it like a podcast. If you want more such videos, definitely do let me know by commenting. We want more videos such as this one. I've asked you to comment 2 things in this video. Goddamn. Let me see how many people watched till the end. But yeah, that was it. And I really hope that you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. It really means a lot to me. We are very, very close to 1.4 million subscribers. That's crazy. So let's hit the subscribe button. Let's close that gap within a few days. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.